I'm Gerard Scarpesi, craft hairdresser and co-founder of the Hairbrain community. I'm with texture specialist, salon owner, artistic director, and stylist to the stars, Pekela Riley. How you doing today, Pekela?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
So happy to be here with you.
Pekela's going to be sharing with us the Wet and Go style using her Dyson Supersonic Pro and her diffuser attachment. Tell us about this technique.
So I am creating a wash and go, a wet and go. So wet and go refers to naturally curly hair, textured hair, really styling that hair with products and basically a dryer or diffuser. So it's really like unmanipulated or less manipulated style.
So it's all about, the preparation, the application of the product, and then basically kind of using the really controlled airflow to not disturb it?
Absolutely. One of the challenges with the wet and go, it does sound so very simple, but oftentimes it can turn out quite frizzy. So I'm showing how with the proper distribution of products and also drying format and tool, you're able to achieve the volume as well as the definition.
Now I understand that this serves kind of as a foundation that you can take and build into other styles, and is that something you're going to show us?
Absolutely. You can start from a very defined wet and go, which is oftentimes what a client would want in the salon. And idealized in the natural hair community is the day two style. So sometimes you have that client that has an event and you want to expand it or volumize it, or if you're in an editorial setting. So I'm able to use the wide tooth comb attachment to volumize that and take it to another level.
Well, I'm super excited to see how this works because I think it's something that's super valuable to add to your repertoire as a salon hairdresser. Pekela, show us what you got.
Okay, let's go. So I will be creating the perfect wet and go with super defined ends and elongation at the roots with our Dyson Supersonic Pro. All great defined curly hair starts with detangling. So we're going to prime our hair with the leave-in conditioner. And again, we're going to detangle, working from the ends, earning our way to the roots. This really sets us up for maximum definition. You want to earn your way to the roots by working on the detangling process at the ends. Once that portion of the hair is detangled, then you're able to go to the section above it, working through the midsection all the way down to the roots. I don't want this hair to retangle, so I'm going to band it together. You can do this with clips or just simply coil it together. I'm going to continue this for the entire head, using my fingers as my initial partings for detangling. We want to brace the hair. Detangle those ends first. Once we've detangled the ends, we have now earned the right to move to the section above it. Every time we detangle a section, we earn the right to go further. Eventually we'll get to the roots. Once we get to the roots, because we've done the work down here, we should be able to glide all the way down without resistance. Gonna keep that detangled by banding that together. Because there are varying degrees of density, I'm making sure that I'm only taking sections that are small enough for me to manage and actually detangle. Because that density is changing. One section may be slightly smaller, another section may be slightly bigger, but we just want them to not be so big that we're not able to manage the detangling. And you don't have to have them super small that it takes you an excessive amount of time. So as you can see, this area has finer density, so I'm able to take a larger area and be able to manage it and detangling it. So now I'm finishing up our detangling process. Toward the end, you may have some sections of the hair that begin to dry. You want to make certain that you mist those with water so that it stays comfortable for the client and that you're not breaking the hair. And again, we're going to follow our process in which we've established, detangling the ends to the roots. The perfect wet and go begins with lots of water. So we definitely want to start with the hair thoroughly wet. Making sure that the hair is really wet so that we're not beginning to dry in frizz. Okay, we're just going to use our fingers to create subsections, and the size of those subsections are going to vary based upon density. Making certain that the hair is thoroughly wet. We're going to distribute product for curl control using our fingers. We want to have separation between our fingers, and what that does is stretch the hair and it allows for curl clumping. When we clump a few strands of hair together, we're able to create definition. What's most important here is that we don't disrupt that. Again, making certain that the hair is very wet. Distributing product. From root to ends. If you feel that your section is a little too big, create another subparting and take it from there. Creating separation with the fingers and stretching, which is called clumping, and we allow that to define itself by not disrupting it. You may see that, but it will retract. Just going to continue this throughout the entire head of hair. We're seeing that our straight pieces are starting to retract. And most importantly, we have this definition, very visible definition, forming on the ends of the hair. So I just finished clumping and defining our curls, allowing them to rest undisrupted, and we're about to begin diffusing. What I do love about diffusing and keeping this definition with the Dyson Supersonic is that I'm able to concentrate and really allow the ends of the hair to set without fear of over drying the hair or having heat spots or uneven airflow that will damage the hair or frizz the hair. The awesome part about the airflow is that although I'm able to really define these ends by drying them first, I'm still getting the rest of the hair dry. There is airflow that is going up the strand and toward the roots. We will specifically focus on the roots later, but we still are in fact drying them as well. Okay, so this is our stopping point in the diffusing before we go to the roots. We've paid attention to focusing on defining the ends of our hair. When it comes to diffusing defined curls, we have the opposite rule of drying straight hair. So we're focused on the ends, and now that I have this hair about 50 to 60% dry, it's defined enough that I'm able to manipulate and move the hair without disrupting or removing that definition. So right now I'm being very intentional in how I manipulate the hair, noticing that I'm creating separation so that I can get the airflow to the roots, but I'm not disrupting the ends. So I'm separating, getting airflow through the roots while still not disturbing the ends of the hair. If we refer to her before shot, we see that we have a beautifully defined wash and go, which seems quite simple but can be quite a challenge for naturally curly girls. So now that we have definition on the ends, I'm going to go into the roots and elongate and stretch with our wide tooth comb attachment. So again, our goal is definition, but now we're creating volume, so we don't want to disrupt our ends. We want to have that same deliberation in drying the roots and preparing the hair for stretching. We want to make certain while we're stretching and elongating the root that we don't go past the point of resistance. Once we reach that point of resistance on the hair, that's when we'll pull the attachment out and move on to the next section. I'm going to show low air, low heat. Anytime that you choose to have an intentional parting and you're utilizing elongating and stretching with the wide tooth comb attachment, you want to avoid the parting. And to stretch that out in a visible area or area that would be seen will create discontinuity with the curls. So we definitely want to do our stretching and elongating in areas that won't be seen by the eye. So here we have our wet and go with definition and volume, and we know that with curly hair it can be a challenge to achieve both. So luckily we have the right tools, and this is our beautiful end result.